it.
Look, I think it's important when you're trying. I think it's important to experiment with these things.
Yeah.
The challenge is if you don't come across with the metrics the first time, people say, "Well, it didn't work."
Right.
Well, it's your first time.
Right.
Yeah.
We learned some things. You know, let's do it again. And you really have to say, "All right, look, that didn't work, but here's what we learned. Let's try it again." Because you've invested a lot. Don't throw that investment away.
Sure.
Just calibrate it a bit and then go.
Sure.
And I think again, it's also important to change the culture to say, this is not just about the quantitative. Let's look at the qualitative. I mean, did any of our influencers tweet about this?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
huge win.
That's a great point.
Amazing.
Do your large organizations, you all come from large organizations, do they have the patience for failure? Do they give you that rope?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And we work hand in hand, side by side with sales. I mean, we actually literally sit in the middle of the sales floor and work daily with the sales executives. And as a company culture and whole failure, you learn from it, right? Taking risks is part of the job, and especially in marketing. Because if we're not taking risks, then we're falling within the norm, and we're caught in the clutter of the rest of the world. So we have to step out of that bound. We might, offend some people along the way, but if we could bring a couple new customers along, I'm happy.
Yeah.
The executive I went to work for like 4 years ago at Cisco, right before I joined, he said, "You know what? We need to fail more in our organization." And I thought that was wonderful, particularly 4 years ago, for somebody to say that.
Yeah, that's big.
And so that's great. And so I was in a group where that was believed, but you still are always battling. We got to report numbers. I'm not talking about financial numbers. I'm talking about just the other traditional. That's always going to be there.
Sure.
And you will always have people also in the organization that are just uncomfortable with risk. And so that is a challenge as well too. PBS Digital, when they launched a new PBS Digital channel, I think it was in 2012, they built failure into the performance review for employees. They said, you need to have a certain number of failures and
interesting.
well thought out failure. Not just, you really have to think about it. You have to consider the consequences
Yep.
and the contingency plans and all of that. But we want to see that you have actually failed, that you've taken a risk. You've been a little more courageous in your work. And I thought it was, and what they did in that year, it transformed the organization. They won more Emmys than anyone, Webbies, than anyone else has won in that category. They were like the number one online channel in their network. I mean, it was amazing how it
Interesting.
transformed things.